Good morning, guys. So yeah, sorry I can't be with you today. So I'm going to be doing my research topic presentation via video. Next slide. So full disclosure, this video has been shot with one take and no editing. I'm not using any handheld notes, and I will aim to video call afterwards to answer any questions you may have. Next slide. So it's a sponsored project that I'm doing. It's sponsored by Rugged Nature, which is my company. And I've kind of given myself a fairly open brief, and that is to find a way to more easily get our and other artisan makers' viscous liquid products into containers. Now, just a quick note on the sponsored side of it. It is a sponsored product because it's a proper company, and it will be used in a sort of commercial environment, and it's something that will get used to make products that will be sold. So in that regard, I do consider it a sponsored product. Next slide. So the company requirements, again what I've sort of set myself, is it must be able to dispense all of our current products in the range. So that's everything from the very viscous sort of hair clay, all the way down to the quite thin beard oil. It must be of a reasonable cost for a startup, so it must not be too expensive for a company in their first or second year. And it must make the dispensing of the products easier, more accurate, cleaner and or quicker. So it needs to actually serve its purpose and not be a hindrance, it must actually be a help. Next slide. It also must be able to serve other artisan makers. It's not a custom product, it's not specific for my company, it must be able to be sold on a wider market. And to work out sort of what they need, I've conducted a survey. So far we've got 8 responses, but we'll be looking at expanding that. And I sort of asked questions such as the type of product, the product viscosity, type of container, units per month, and how much they'd be willing to spend. And this was, of course, asked of sort of artisan makers found through Facebook groups for that purpose. And I had responses from a viscosity of thin oil all the way up to modelling clay, and units per month from like 10 to 300. So it's quite wide at the moment, but I will be looking at consolidating that down, obviously, with more responses. Next slide. So there are some current products on the market. I attended the PPMA Total show at the NEC, picked up a fair amount of literature from there, and it's effectively a show for big commercial machinery manufacturers to show off their machinery and sell to sort of the manufacturers of cosmetic and food products. It's great, but all the machinery there has cost hundreds of thousands of pounds on the other side of my house, completely so far removed from being suitable for mine and other artisan makers' purposes that it's just ridiculous. There are some Chinese made products out there on sort of Alibaba, DHgate. They're about 500 to 600 quid. They're quite good, but they only serve one purpose. They only do one specific task. They will dispense liquid, they will dispense clay. And also they don't look particularly attractive. They're not really something you'd want to have in your kitchen all the time. And then think like kitchen and DIY products are often repurposed for the purpose of dispensing it into the thing. That's what most artisan makers use at the moment. They're using mixers and jugs and funnels and all those sort of things, and that works, but it's very labour intensive. It's not particularly automated. It's quite error prone and really quite messy. So next slide. The research, being the nature of the project that it is, the project is going to have a heavy emphasis on primary research such as the surveys and questionnaires, and then any secondary research will be done regarding sort of scientific properties such as viscosity, temperature, angles, tolerances, as well as sort of like the business case for such products, such as potential market size and like sort of industry budgets for that sort of thing. Next slide. Any questions? I'll now attempt a video call. I am in the jungle, unfortunately, so whether or not I'll have any mobile reception or Wi-Fi, I'm not sure of. But if we don't manage to get through to each other, then you should email me. My email address is on screen. So yeah, hopefully that is suitable as a presentation. Again, I'm very sorry for not being here today. But if you do have any questions, we'll find a way to answer those. Thank you very much. Bye bye.